Shalom, this is Amonute Tayac of Piscataway, your friendly neighborhood human, Sophia Spiritualite, the AmaruKhan Miriyam, and we're here with a little update video, kind of, sort of. I kind of want to wrap this up. I'm really hoping that this is wrapped up now after this. So many of you all have received an offer to recontract. I noticed two separate offers to recontract yesterday. And the thing about it is, if you are following me on this channel and you do not wish to be subject to that contract, I put a hedge of protection around you. Actually, it wasn't me. It was the Galactic Center with St. Martin de Porres. I lit a candle for everybody on Monday when we hit the Galactic Center. As a protection. I didn't know what was going on exactly, and as I mentioned in my video yesterday, we were on the offense now, and so that has been confirmed to me. I'll get to that a little bit later because I had a dream that I'm going to share. It wasn't a threat, so I don't have to actually share my actual recording. I could just tell y'all about it, but yeah, y'all received an opportunity, two separate opportunities to recontract. I thought that when I made the video 2 weeks ago before we went into the new moon energy, I thought that it was going to be for finances, but apparently our energy is far more valuable than finances. And so we have two different entities that I've seen. I mean, y'all might have seen more that try to recontract our energy back in. And so, with that being said, they're late. They're late. Number one, I told y'all about this 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of hard to say now, oh, well, we need some energy to take the sword, or we need some energy for this fast that we have coming up, when I've been saying for months, we already have our fast schedule, and we fast to provide our energy to the sun. We fast with the sun, meaning we eat when the sun is up, and when the sun goes down, we don't eat. So we actually, we fast with the sun. We don't fast with the moon. And it's a really important reason for that I'll probably have to make another video on, because I don't want to get into all of that right now. But the fact of the matter is, and we don't want the sword to be taken from them, because the sword that they have is going to be used to protect us. So we need them to have the sword, because someone has to protect us. Obviously, there's a lot of people amongst us that don't want us to be successful. And so someone has to have the sword, and I don't want it. I'm not asking for the sword to be taken from someone so that it can be given to me, or to my, people who want to see me wiped out. No, I'm not. We're not making that mistake either. So, due to these attempts to recontract, right? And like I said, we have a hedge of protection placed around us from St. Martin de Porres, which I'm still going to make the video on him. I'm glad I didn't make it sooner. But let me talk about the timing real quick. So, as many of you all know, the solstice is tomorrow, on Thursday, the 21st. That's the solstice. Now, the feeling that I'm getting is the solstice energy is often used to switch positions, meaning you go from the sun being the longest, or the sun on the northern hemisphere, the sun goes from being at its shortest to start to gain momentum to become its longest. And in the southern hemisphere, you have the sun going from being its longest to start to lose momentum to be its shortest. Okay, so this is the time period that we're in. Along with the eclipses, they use this energy to try to switch positions. And so you may have noticed in previous years, this time period was a time period of arguing. You're arguing with people. And so they use the fact that we're arguing with people and giving our energy to these other people to switch positions, so that they're the recipient of all the energy that we've gathered up to give to these people. But since we have Operation Holly Jolly, and I've been wearing my Santa hat ever since I told y'all I was putting it on. I have not taken it off yet. So when I get in the house, I don't wear it in the house. But I haven't taken it off. I've worn it out the house every single day. And I decided I wasn't going to give my energy to these people one way or another, and that I was going to reserve my energy for me so that I could be judged by my energy. So now I'm okay. So what they do is, because we have good energy, they would switch their energy, and then we would be arguing over Christmas, over family, over whatever. So they would switch our good, pure energy with their wicked energy, so that when the blessing comes, it comes to them and ever increases instead of coming to us, because we're the ones in the low vibration, they're the ones in the high vibration. They could just easily switch the energy. However, that didn't happen, or it's not going to happen, because we're in a high vibration and we're in good energy. So what they tried to do instead is to out and out recontract. It's like, okay, well, if y'all are going to take the blessing, at least we need some energy. And again, just like with that song, Walk On By, where the Leviathan going to try to dictate to us that we should just let that thing hang around in peace. The answer is, hell no, nigga. You done. I'm sorry. That was not very nice. But it's true. No, we're not giving you any of our energy. We are reserving our energy so that we can be judged fairly. We can go into this portal with pure hearts, and we will come out of this portal with pure hearts. Now, if you succumbed, like I said, to the offers, and this is your opportunity to repent and say, no, I don't want to be a part of that. I'm rescinding my energy being a participant of that. You have time, because the actual solstice is not until tomorrow. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because it is a timing issue. You do have to reject. So let me just, for the record, we reject over here at this channel any and all offers to recontract. No, thank you. We already have a calendar. We already know our fast schedule is basically set in stone. The only thing that changes is going to be the 22-day fast, because we do that with Saturn. Everything else, no, we already have our contract. We're set in stone. We're good, buddy. We don't need anybody to direct our energy. We are perfectly capable of directing our own energy. So we reject the offer to have the sword taken away from whoever holds it right now, which is not our concern. And we also reject the offer to lend or give our energy, give our blessing away to anyone who is requesting it. No, not only no, but hell no. No, thank you. Okay. We're not doing that this year. No, absolutely not. Okay. Just to make it clear. And you are more than welcome to agree, disagree, like, unlike, unsubscribe, subscribe. This is not about that. Those people who do not know, they have a hedge of protection around them. They can't even contract with them. That's why they have to come in. We know better. And by now, we should know better. And a lot of people, it's very unfortunate. They're going to have to learn the hard way. They're going to have everything snatched from them, just like we had everything snatched from us over here on this channel. They're going to have everything snatched from them in order to learn the lesson, so that they can come back to the Father. And, the Father is merciful for that, even giving them the option. And let me talk about that. So a thought that I had is, okay, we know that act like a lady, think like a man is wrong. So what is the correct way? Well, I believe the correct way is for women to act like men, and not act like men in the old machoism, but just, like I said, put a hedge of protection around people so that they're not unnecessarily hurt, and to think like a woman. The women have the superior thinking. So we want to keep our thinking. We just want to change our behavior to be not more man-like, but more masculine, meaning more of about protecting and providing and all of that. And so that's the optimal position for women. And for men, the optimal position is for men to act like women and not females, not these ratchet women out here, but to be providers and to be caring and all that stuff, and to think like men. Just like we should think like women, that's a superior position for us, given our ability to function and multitask. We need men to think like men. Don't think like women, think like men. And this would explain why the angels, they all made them to appear men, right? Because you have to, if you're a female, what did I just say? You want to act like a man. So what's the ultimate way of acting like a man? Just like we've seen with so many of the saints, the female saints, they put on the stuff and went into the monasteries and acted like men, but they still thought like a woman. They didn't leave their thinking at the door when they came in with their masculine looking bodies. No, they still thought like a woman, but they acted like a man. So that's exactly what we have to do as women, and our men are called to act like women and to think like men. And that explains a lot of stuff for me in my own personal life. I get it now, but I really didn't get it up to this point. And so that's why the mother and the father is one. Why? Because it's the father. The God comes off like a man, but he's always thinking like a woman. Now, it doesn't really matter which is which, because, it depends on what's going on, what side of God you interact with. But it's just good to have an understanding of, oh, that's what that really means. Like, that's how that comes together. So I wanted to throw that out there. So, it was one more thing. Y'all, I can't remember. I talked about the contract. I talked about the Trinity. Oh, the Trinity. Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. So the week has 7 days, right? It made me. I got and in my dream. Okay, I got a revelation about that, and I want to share that too, because. All right, so we have a Trinity, right? But we really know the Trinity is 4 parts. Well, from the 4 come 3, and from the 3 come 1. So look at it this way. We have 7 days in a week. The lead of the week, Michael, is Sunday. Then you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 4 days, okay? The lead of the weekend is Zedek, or Zedekiah. So you have Melchi Zedek, and she is the lead of what? Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you have the 4-head God that leads to the 3-head God that leads to the 1 God. Because why? Monday through Saturday, that's 1 week. So you can see how, and then for each day has a different hour. Each hour is assigned to a different God. So then how you can see how you get the different 72 and all that stuff. It's all broke down. So and then 1 week makes a year, and 52 weeks make a year, and then or 7 days make a week, 52 weeks make a year. Then you have all these names of God. They're all describing the way our time has been broken down. So this is why understanding the timeline and really reverencing the timeline and not just throwing it all away like it's not important has been really critical, and why we have been successful in getting out of this contract over on this channel, because we focused on the timeline. We didn't get distracted by the power of the angels and what they could do, or the power of the saints, and we didn't get distracted by that. We stayed focused on, okay, how do they apply to the timeline? And that's what I have, y'all know that's what I've been working on, how they apply to the timeline. So I just wanted to throw that out there too. So this is the last piece. I'm going to tell y'all about a dream that I had last night. Before I went to sleep, I was listening to lava sounds. And before I went to sleep, I said, okay, I would like to have a dream about how some of these things are going to, what's going to happen next. Like, I want to know what's going to happen next. Now, mind you, I seen the attempts to recontract, and I knew that, everyone was going to be facing some kind of, a choice. This was a choice point. And I had, very much had, that on my mind as a concern, because I don't want any of my followers or anybody really not anybody, I don't want anybody who is not actively trying to be contracted in that way to be contracted in that way. If you want to be contracted in that way, that's fine. But I don't want anyone who doesn't want to be contracted in that way to be contracted in that way. So I went to sleep. I was thinking about these things. I read my little thing from the Tao Te Ching, which I highly recommend reading. One of those, just one of those little verses before you go to bed. It's really, really good information. Oh my goodness. Crashed right into him. Wow. Oof. Lord have mercy. So I go to sleep, and in a dream, I'm not in Florida, but I'm not in Maryland either. But it's like this time. It's like this time, like current time, right? And but there's snow on the ground. That's how I know I'm not in Florida and I'm not in Maryland. So I don't know where I was. Where there be snow on the ground? We don't have white Christmases. I was just telling someone this, but it was obviously like a white Christmas kind of scenario. So I don't remember the whole dream, but in the part of the dream, me and my middle daughter were standing outside, and all of a sudden we see a spaceship that's like covered in a cloud, right? But it's clearly a spaceship. Like it's shaped like a spaceship. It looks like a spaceship. After we see that spaceship, we see a bunch of other stuff happening in the sky. So there was like a tube kind of like spaceship that still kind of looked like a cloud. It wasn't even like a cloud. It kind of reminded me of like snow in the sky. You know what I mean? Like a snowman, but you could see it in the sky. So that's why I say it's a cloud. But it was like a tube one. Then we seen like tire tracks. Like somebody, you know how a truck skids off and they leave the tire tracks? We see that, but in the sky. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, what does this have to do with me having a good Christmas? I was like, I don't care about whatever they doing in the sky, has nothing to do with me. But my daughter was looking at it and I was like, come on, look, girl, we got to go. So a voice said in my head, go get a Christmas tree. And I was like, okay, I'll go get a Christmas tree. That's fine. So I go and get a Christmas tree. And when I get it home, they said, okay, cut the top part off. I was like, the top? I just bought this tree. You want me to mutilate the tree after I just bought it? They said, cut the top part of the tree off. So I cut the top part of the tree off. So it was like a mini Christmas tree. And then I left the bottom part. So we decorated the top part of the tree. It was like this big. Like we decorated the top part of the tree with the lights and little ornaments and stuff like that. And then I said, well, what am I going to do with the rest of this tree? So you know how they have the Mrs. Butterworth's bottle where they have that big skirt? I put like a body on top of it and turned it into, in my mind, it was like Mrs. Claus. Like you seen the black Mrs. Claus where they have the big skirts and that whatever. I put a body torso on top of it, so at least, and I decorated like Christmas, you know what I mean? But it was kind of like I don't know, almost like a scarecrow at this point. Because it was way bigger than the rest of the tree, the part that was left, because I only cut off the top. So I talked to one of the sisters earlier, and she also had a dream about ships. So this is some of my interpretation, and I'll be glad to hear anyone else's thoughts or whatever. Because after that, before I tell about her dream, after that, I got the feeling that I should make a wish. So I was like, I wish that this is the best Christmas my kids ever had. And, at the top of my list is that we have got to get out of this house. So as I was waking up from that dream, I was thinking, okay, well, I just seen a house for rent and I thought it was too much because you can get a Airbnb for less than that. So I'm just, in my mind, I'm going through the mechanics of what it would look like to move. And I do that all the time. I'm always thinking like, okay, I seen this. Okay, I remember I looked this up. And I'm always going back and forth looking at the mechanics of like how to get up out of this place because as I've mentioned over and over and over again, I don't like it. I don't want to be there. But I will do what the Most High wants me to do for any amount of time that He decides, because I understand that it's a part of what's going on. So I'm thinking about that stuff when I wake up. So then I talk to the sister, and she's like, you know what, I had a dream about ships too. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, the same kind of ones, and we were asleep around the same time. So I think, now, if anybody else also had a dream about ships last night, please chime in, of course, and leave a comment so that we can know that, what's going on. Number one, I think they were trying to recontract with us in our dreams. Again, which they're not supposed to do. Totally against the rules. Again, because in her dream specifically, they tried to, a couple tried to get into her house, like knock at the door, and she said no. She wouldn't let them in. They wanted her to go back to her old job or something, and she said no. And me, when I seen the ships, I just left. I was like, what does this have to do with anything that I'm dealing with right now? I don't care about this. I just didn't even care. They didn't even have an opportunity to try that with me, because I literally didn't care. Like, you have to actually have someone who cares about your space invasion, leaving the planet, or whatever it is. I don't care about none of that stuff. Like, right now, what I care about is I want my kids to have a good Christmas. I don't care about none of that other stuff. All that stuff is irrelevant. So I think that, again, that whole spaceship thing is, they're either going to try to launch a fake space invasion, or that was the fake space invasion. They couldn't even launch it in reality. All they could do was project it onto us, like in our brains. That's as far as they could get. And I summarily rejected it. I didn't care at all. I just didn't care at all, and the other sister, she was like, not interested either. Like, it just didn't work. You can't get me to recontract with somebody over that stupid stuff. So I was like, that was one thing. And then them literally like asking for her to come back, and she just said no. And in my dream, I'm just focused on where I was focused on where I wanted to go. Like, the dream was long. I don't remember all of it. The only part I remember is seeing those ships and saying, nah, I don't want that. I want my kids to have a good Christmas, and the whole tree. So this is also what I think about the tree situation. I believe that there's 1/3 of people, 1/3 of our community that is actually going to be decorated and restored. And the other 2/3 are going to, like the bottom half of that tree, they're going to have to be reabsorbed and to get their frequency right. And so it's when you are the when you have to be possessed by an entity in order to get your frequency up, because in my dream it was like Mrs. Claus, right? So if you have to be if you have to be possessed by an entity to get your frequency up, so you can have the hope of being, at the top of the tree next time, that's going to come with some consequences. There's some comforts that people have been experiencing due to having the protection of people like myself and the sisters we pray together. There's some consequences for not having those protections, and I think that people are getting ready to see that you're gonna have to live through these consequences of learning this lesson, so that you will turn not just to God but to yourself. Because I had made a comment yesterday on Twitter. I was like, if you trust the plan, that means you can't trust yourself. I trusted myself, even though the voice was coming from inside of my head telling me to buy the tree and this and that. It was still me trusting myself, the words that are being told to me over what I'm seeing on the outside. Because what I was seeing on the outside was a whole space invasion. And I did not even pay it any attention. I said, what does that have to do with me? It had nothing to do with me. So I just kept it moving. It had nothing to do with me. And because I kept focused on myself, I was given the instructions of making that tree smaller. and really focusing my decorating on that small part of the tree. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I feel like that's each one of us. Like, we're going to be decorated and made beautiful and restored, and a lot of the dead weight is going to be cut off. But that dead weight is not just going to go away. You know, the Most High is, like I said, the Most High, mother and father, sister and brother, they are so patient with our people. They are going to give these people an opportunity to get themselves able to be decorated, because I still decorated the other half of the tree, but anamorphed it, or whatever. I turned the tree into a person. It was another entity that was standing beside my tree. The little one that I decorated, they were side by side, and the little one was beautiful and was all lit up and all of that. And the other tree, it was still there, but it was covered up in this like costume where it basically had to, be put into the dark, so that it could attempt to get it together. So I think there's a lot of people who don't know that they've been, who may or may not know, may or may not be aware that the entities that are with them have been leeching off of our energy, and not providing, the value that they're supposed to in return. And I think a lot of these individuals are getting ready to find out what it's like to be without our energy. What it's going to be like to have to deal with the energy that belongs to them, and to deal with the entities that's going to attempt to get them into higher vibration. Because I do want our brothers and our sisters to come. I don't hold anything that I'm seeing against the actual person. I understand that there's entities around here doing all kinds of crazy stuff, trying to get people to do all kinds of stuff. I understand that. And I weep and I mourn those individuals, but we've already done that. That's what our 22-day fast was. We already mourned the loss of these people. I really hope that they convert their hearts to trust in themselves and their own energy and their own magic and their own power. I truly wish that. I don't hold anything against anybody. I want people to get right. The number one thing, these people need to get readings. They need to come over here, see their friendly neighborhood shoeman, and they need to get a reading so they know exactly what to work on within themselves. We've done it the hard way, but we know that it can be done the hard way. Or they need to go see a regression therapist so they can get those entities that's inside them in control. And you know how I know this is true? Because there was a video so I saw a couple things on Twitter after I recorded a video and woke up. One of them was that cloud, which I was like, oh, that's what I saw in my dream. The other one was there's a lady out there who, I think she's a Caucasian lady, poor woman. She did an Ayahuasca trip, and when she did the Ayahuasca, it made her crazy. The shaman she was working with, the shaman, probably male, she was working with was not good, and he didn't know how to bring her back. He really didn't have the power that he said he had. So that's one thing you got to worry about with these people. They don't know anybody. Anyway, so those entities started attacking her, right? And so she heals from that, and then she goes on this date with this guy who attempts to force himself on her, and then she has to go to court to try to press charges on him, and it re-traumatizes her all over again. So all the trauma she had dealt with, and then the entities told her she got to go to South Africa and get initiated as a shaman. And so I was like, ooh, I made a comment. I was like, she really should have asked those, somebody has, I guess the caption was about demons. And I said she really should have asked them to go easier on her because she wasn't prepared to deal with all of that. And some, Jesus person with a cross in their thing said, oh, well, you can't cast out the demons. You can't tell the demons what to do. I was like, you can't tell the demons what to do. What is the point of, so, I said, for real, I commented, I said, for real, God bless you, and then I went into the Bible and the quote tweets and started pulling out scriptures, because over and over and over, Jesus says, You can cast out the demons. You can do it in my name. You have to use the name, but you can do it. And this man gonna comment to me, well, not some person who's on hallucinogens. I was like, this is exactly what's wrong with the church. This is exactly why people don't want to be affiliated with the church. Because you got people like him telling, oh, well, you've been on drugs. You can't call on the name of Jesus and cast out the demons. Yes, you can. And I pulled up the scripture because in the scripture, what did you little birdie, about to fly into the car. The apostles said the same thing to Jesus. They said, hey, there's somebody over there casting out demons in your name. We should stop them. And he said, why would you do that? If they're casting out demons in my name, they're for us. They're not against us. If they're not against us, then they're for us. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because, oh, you want to have the power, or you want to control who can cast out demons. Get the heck out of here, man. That's exactly what's wrong with these. This is why you have to act like a man, like, yeah, we're in charge of this thing here. But you got to think like a woman. Like, come on, man. If he already said somebody can cast out demons in his name, why are you mad someone is casting out demons in his name? He already said y'all can do it. Y'all can't do it. Some of these people, they can't do it because they don't know Jesus. They don't even know their fake Jesus. That they don't even know the Jesus entity that was created for them. They don't know the Jesus of the Bible. They don't know the Jesus entity. They don't know Yeshua. They don't know anybody. And whose fault is that? That's not my fault. We got to meet our brother very personally, up close and personal and direct. They have the same opportunity. So no, they can't say, oh, well, no, you just don't know Jesus. That's on you, boo. We know that man. We know that man for real. So don't tell me that. Don't tell me. Y'all don't know that man. Y'all don't know that man. So that is to say that all of that is to say that you don't have to be worried. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be concerned about. We're all protected. We're good. We're not worrying about any of this stuff. That's all. That's all I'm saying. We're not worried about none of this stuff. We are, we're going to move forward. We're going to press forward. We're going to do what's right. We're not recontracting with these people. They don't have any right to recontract with us. And we're going to, when we're dressed up and decorated, all beautiful like their little Christmas tree, we're going to remember to shine our light on everyone who needs it. And then we're not going to be stingy with our light. And that's basically, I think, the point of that story with we're not going to be we're not going to be so stingy with our light that we will say, hey, that person, they were on hallucinogens. They don't deserve to have any light. We're not going to do that. Okay. We're not going to do that. Some people may, that's fine, but I'm not going to engage in that kind of behavior with these people because they have no right to talk about anybody. These people are, they're off the chain, off the charts. So I hope this video has been helpful for someone. I know it's kind of all over the place, but I wanted to get all these thoughts out before I go in here and get to work. So shalom, everyone, and we will see you in the next video.